Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the stream. It is I, Digi Driver, welcoming you to your Monday, June 19th, 2023. It's about 5:30 p.m., and we got our job cut out for us. We have a bit of a deadline to meet. I mean, a personally imposed deadline, not like I'm actually doing anything with any other company or such, but I am giving myself a deadline for Plymouth. It is time to make do on finishing what I started last November. It is time to start putting the wrap on this project, which is going to take about a month to do if I do it the way I feel I can do it. But we'll find out a bit more about that today. We'll take some time, try to figure out what's up, what we can do, and maybe we can, oh, I don't know, figure out some stuff. I'm trying to figure out some things to do to make the next few weeks go by well. I'm certainly not trying to make myself feel overwhelmed, but at the same time, I want to present an experience which is going to be great to anybody watching, anybody following along on Discord, and anybody that wants to be a part of the adventure. The adventure, which I think is going to be coming to a close pretty soon. Now, don't worry, I'm not dropping off Twitch. I will say, once I release KPYM, I will be off the platform for a little while, for a little bit of R&R. And then when I come back, I will be probably working on one or two Summer of Freeware projects. I'd like there to be more than two airports that I do, but I honestly don't know if it's going to take a while, if I'm going to be working on those two airports straight through the fall or something. I'll just take a look and see what we can do and what we can pull off. But let me leave you guys on the load-in screen, and I am going to make sure that my other platform is open because I forgot, and shouldn't be too long. And then I can do the deal and figure stuff out. Like, for example, the possibility of a podcast, VCast, something. I don't know. I'm throwing ideas out here. I like the idea of a podcast, except I've never done one. I've never tried to publish them before. I have no clue what's involved. But that could be that could be another great adventure. Who knows? Who knows? We shall see. That's for sure. Let me get myself set. And yeah, there we go. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and jump into Plymouth, and I will share with you guys the adventure which continues to unfold. If you're unaware of what I'm working on or what I'm talking about right now, I have been working on Plymouth Municipal Airport, which is Kilo Papa Yankee Mike, and I've been working on it for about the past, what am I going to say? About the past 8 months. Hey, Dendarian, good to see you. Bear with me just a moment, folks. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Dendarian, great to see you. It has been a while. I hope you're doing very well. I think I saw you pop up on Chewy's stream earlier today. I was up and about, just getting stuff done. Today was a pretty productive day. Let me see. Got up, made breakfast, mowed the lawn, did a whole bunch of laundry, ran into town, picked up a few things. Yes, there you go. Thank you. It's Tangled. Hello. Good to see you again. And I hope you have a great rest of your day at work. Take care. You actually had Phoenix flying back home. Wow. So you're at Phoenix and you're flying home to Midway. Okay. Okay, wow. Safe travels to you then, and God bless your trip. Let me go ahead and jump into Plymouth and give you something to look at. Let's get started. So, in case you don't know, or in case you haven't been aware, I actually do run a Discord. There's the link if you want to join in and say hi. I keep folks up to date with regards to scenery development progress, screenshots in MSFS and sometimes P3D. There is a small community there, which I tend to try to care for very much. So if you're interested, I'd welcome the company. And it looks like we loaded into Plymouth at night, which is interesting, but it's also incorrect because it's not night yet. We'll do real time, and we've got some clouds here, but that's okay. We'll load into Kilo Papa Yankee Mike, and we will get started. So it is possible to have these kind of like editing windows, so to speak, open and be transparent. But I prefer to focus the scenery development area and keep those just blocked off, fully opaque. That's how I roll. And just in case you've missed the past several weeks and months of dev, I'll give you a very quick tour of what's going on. And based on my setup, I'm seeing some very good things already. And there we go. I think everything actually loaded. Let me go ahead and yeah, okay. We're fully loaded. I'll take the editing boxes away, give you guys a little tour, and then we'll get right into it. There we go. So, folks, welcome to Plymouth Municipal Airport. This is Kilo Papa Yankee Mike, Plymouth, the big sign there. This is an airport, I don't know how many miles, but it's about like south, like west southwest or southwest of Plymouth proper. We're almost in the middle of a cranberry bog area, as you can see by those things which I'm looking at right now. The airport is a general aviation airport. This is not used by any airline aircraft, although the runways are probably just big enough to handle the occasional emergency 737 landing and maybe even an A319 or A320. You probably shouldn't have an issue here, but you will be cramped quarters, that's for sure. Again, no airliner flights here. Charter flights probably. And oh, I just realized I made a boo-boo. Folks, I'm gonna have to kick you out of the sim because I need to load in my Google Maps scenery. So, in case you don't know, Kilo Papa Yankee Mike is now in pre-release state, and I am in the process of working on getting things fixed, included, up to date. And one of the things that I installed a little while ago is, oh yeah, thin taxiways. You got it. That's for sure. So I need to find, I need to find my Google Maps app. Where is it? Great, there we go. So I downloaded and installed the free version of the MSFS FS 2020 Google Map Enhancement. There are several map sources you can use, and I'm using the free Google Maps server. I'm doing that because I want to see the way this thing looks over there. Because apparently there's some discrepancies between the Bing Maps imagery, which is already available by default in the sim, and the Google Maps imagery, which may or may not be, although I'm pretty sure it is, more up to date. Okay, lurk away, my friend. Pay more attention to them than to me. We good. I am reloading the sim and then I should be able to see the Google Maps imagery. So I'm going to go back to live view. You've been using Bing on X-Plane 12. Okay, because you've been using Auto Ortho. I haven't tried that, but the more I hear about it, the more I'm getting interested. Now, I haven't spent time looking into it, but I probably will at this point because y'all are beginning to get my interest. If you guys know, if you follow me for any stretch of time, before like 2022, I was spending a lot of time in X-Plane 12. I'm sorry, X-Plane 11 at the time. I spent almost all my time there, and then I, really got back into FS 2020, and I'm spending a lot of time here now. Oh, SimX, yes, yes. I think I need to get that or install that in X-Plane 12 and probably try X America in X-Plane 12 as well. And with the auto ortho, it'll basically be like flying in in FS 2020, except I'll really be dealing with some winds. If you watch my previous VOD from I think 1 or 2 weekends ago, I I I crashed the plane on takeoff from an airport outside of Charlotte or at Charlotte because there was some kind of bug or some kind of issue in my wind calculations in XEnviro. So somebody helped me download or told me to go download the newest version of XEnviro, which is 1.24 right now, and then that fixed the problem. Long hauls in the Flight Factor 757, I like that plane so much. No matter how many times I have major issues in it, I still like to fly it. It is essentially the study level aircraft, the only study level aircraft that I'll bother flying right now. So that's me. Okay, now we're back, and now we're going to go ahead and take that ramp for departure, and now we're going to get going. Sorry about that. Oh yeah, 757, great plane. 767. SG, hello, my friend. Good to see you. I'm doing well, sir. I am handling my pure luck stream withdrawal with bravado. I know he's Lord willing, he'll be back safely this week, but I'm not expecting him to be on Friday night. I would imagine he might stream on Friday or Sunday, but again, I don't know how he's going to feel when he comes back from his trip overseas. So we shall see, friend. All right, second time around, and hopefully this time I will be able to get going. Okay, I have a feeling everything's loaded now, which should be great. Now, actually, I'm almost happy that this happened because you guys are going to see the difference between the ortho that we saw just now and Google Maps. So, this is the Google Maps version of the airport. And I will blank out the editing boxes for everything that we have. And as you can tell, I've done most of the groundwork. The problem is twofold. Number one, I use the Bing imagery for most of my ground apron placements. Most of them are good. However, I do need to do a little bit more tweaking because the taxiways here, especially by the north-south runway, they're a lot wider than I thought. Withdrawal's a real thing. You know, look forward to having them back, that's for sure. I did do custom taxi line work, and I did do some of these buildings custom, including these silver hangars, which I'm probably going to try to make blue before release. And we have some extra buildings here that I'm going to try to include. This is a convenience store, which I'll probably just do the exterior for, along with these buildings. And one of the things that I've done so far for this place is that I've made signs. So these light up at night, they turn off during the day. And I have fence that goes around the airport, although I do need to tweak my fence layouts because they're incorrect. Whether or not that's going to be an issue, I'm going to try to do everything as authentically as I can. My scenery is going to be on Sim Market. I already have a scenery available on Sim Market right now, which is Whiskey 904 W94. That's a private airport scenery by Camp Peary, and it has a single hangar, which if you spawn into with a small plane, emphasis on small plane, or no bigger than an F-18, you can manually open the doors. I don't know if you can hide the yoke in an F-18, though. That's a problem. Um, I need to change the way that works because I paired hiding the default flight yoke with actually opening and closing the hangar doors there. And I do have some scenery available on flightsim.to under my name. Earlier, much earlier representations of what exists in 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 Missouri and in Edmonton in Canada, in Alberta, Canada. So I have to build this building, which is the terminal, and I have to replace this thing, which is the default beacon, which in and of itself doesn't suck. Like, it could be way more sparse than this, but this is not. This is a really, I think, a really, really um, like regional or international airport sized beacon. I don't think it's that big IRL. So with the additional buildings and the fact that I have a windsock on top of one of these buildings, not the same layout, but I don't know how to replace the default windsock in in the sim. There's also a windsock down there by the north-south runway, which I'll probably remove. But otherwise, I have got my my taxi signs, my taxi lines, and I've got parking positions, which are painted gray and just a touch transparent, just enough to make them look a little bit worn, just a little bit dirty, which is the effect I'm going for. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to figure out how to do that with these taxi lines, which are just default paint. I might have to play around with the ground merging on them. I'm not expecting to get a good result, and that's okay. It's only my second release, so we'll do the same thing. Good point. Good point, Eric Flight. We can focus on getting the terminal built, and then in a future revision we can always add an interior. So I'll try. Even if I make a basic interior with textures, we can try to basically do something better about that later. Some of these buildings are default, some are not. These are kind of like hangar slash what I call storage areas, but these are probably big enough to put a sport aircraft into. And this is Yankee Aviation. I've got the sign, but I don't have the building rendered yet. We'll work on that pretty soon. This is something that I've been working on a little bit. This is the Alpha 1 Flight School. And oh, I know why the grass looks the way it does. It's literally because there's a really big shadow coming from this. And there's just a tiny little walkway here, which I might change. I might put some default grass here just to line it up with the door better. And I've got an interior here. I've even got, if you want a cup of coffee, I got you. A coffee machine there. And I'm going to put some stuff down here, like a table for flight planning. Next flight's on Thursday. Got it. And I've got a whole bunch of doors and things to fix here. My layout's
Morning, Maddie.
off,
How are you?
but we'll
I'm
see.
doing good.
Kurt Deasy, thank you so much for the follow. Really appreciate it. Welcome to the fam. And folks, if you don't already know, we've got some folks in chat that are actually Flight Sim streamers as well. Eric Flight is somebody who has massively helped the project, and Kurt Deasy is also streaming. I think he's streaming right now, actually. So give them both a follow, and I hope you are doing well. And unless I'm mistaken, It's Tangled is also a Flight Sim streamer as well. So we've got an interior, a very basic interior. It turns out there's even more stuff in this hangar than I expected. So I'll be making some revisions to the hangar structure. And this hangar is probably just straight hangar for, planes to park in. But this is what we have so far. But, oh, no worries, no worries. Well, welcome, welcome. Grab a chair, make yourself a cup of coffee. We'll be here for a little bit, at least till about 7:15 minimum. So I've got some work to do today, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my uh, uh, uh what am I trying to say? I'm going to grab some extra information so that I can actually do really good. Stream speak, it's a thing. But welcome aboard to everyone that's saying hi. All right, looks like we've got some activity in our Discord as well, which is wonderful. Now, pardon me, I'm going to shift gears temporarily and go grab some info. If you know, I need to get a certain thing in order for me to actually do my work today. And now that I have it, I can actually grab my data. You know what? I think we're going to try that because I'd like to come up with some ways to really make the channel kind of go to the next step. And I think part of that is going to be, for lack of a better phrase, scenery dev clinics and a chance to share my knowledge with the interwebs. Fair warning, I'm still a rookie at this. There are some people that make what I do look absolutely primitive by comparison. I would say if you want to find out more and you want to get started, I would recommend these channels. And I'm going to go ahead and just grab them real quick. I'm going to go ahead and grab this channel, which is My Physical World. I don't have an officially tied in channel. I have a private channel, like a personal channel where I archive my videos. But go ahead and check out My Physical World, who does scenery development for Microsoft Flight Simulator. And we're also going to go ahead and recommend this wonderful individual to you, because if you haven't already done so, I highly recommend you check them both out. There's a wealth of information that they have where where you can get started relatively quickly. And I'll also be glad to answer questions in chat as I can. I'm going to be doubling down on focus for KPYM this month, so stuff's going to happen really quickly, Lord willing. Now, where was I? Here I was. So, I am going to work on the terminal building, just not today. The beacon tower is in the final phase of construction, and I already did the taxi markings for the west ramp colored yellow. I'm going to rework the green hangar, the green mini hangars, these guys. These I think are more airport service vehicles. So, and also if I remember correctly, the doors slide open. They're not vertical. So I think I need to add some, some basic things inside, wrenches, like, workshop stuff like that, so you can see trucks in there. And oh, yes. I think we're going to get rid of the fuel truck here. And the reason why we're going to get rid of this fuel truck is because we're going to make this area a fueling area for anybody that loads into the airport and either wants to start where there's a fuel spot or they want to go there. This airport is Kilo Papa Yankee Mike. This is Plymouth Municipal Airport, and it is in or just outside of Plymouth, Massachusetts. So if you've ever heard the story of Plymouth Rock, the Mayflower, this area is fairly historic. And there's stuff that even I forgot about, so I might take some time to relearn. But sorry, fuel truck, you gots to go. Oh wait, no, it's doing one of those things where it's not going to go away. It's okay. It's okay. It'll go away when I reload the scenery or when I reload MSFS, but I'm not going to bother with that right now. For now, consider this gone. You won't be able to select it anymore because I've removed it. But for some reason, the sim doesn't always get rid of objects that you delete when you're in the SDK. Now, I am going to create a parking space Probably, I don't know, here, maybe, maybe. Let's add a spot. Let's add a spot here, and I'm going to go ahead and choose. Where are the start positions actually? Okay, west parking start. Okay, so we're going to add new start position, and we're going to make it for fuel. So taxiway parking, we're going to do fuel, and we're going to add it right where I'm steering. And we're going to make it GA sized because we don't want any, many airliners popping up here to refuel. And what am I going to say? Properties, clunk. Make it maybe 7, maybe 8 meters for radius. The radius actually controls, I think it controls what spawns in, although I don't think any traffic is going to spawn right where this fuel spot is. So what I need to do is to tie this parking spot to a taxi line. Fortunately, there's one right here. So we're going to call this west ramp. Oh wait, west parking fuel position. And then we're going to tie this into the taxi line. There's a fuel tank to the right of one of the green hangars, which I forgot to mention. You should see it in the Google scenery. Thank you. Let me check. I see something here. I think it might be that. Also, I see some field trucks here. So I'm guessing it's the black one, but in case it isn't, I can always just put a fuel tank here. So there we go. This is you know what? I don't care. Let's make it 7. And now we're going to tie this in. So we're going to grab this position. I'm temporarily going to add a number to it. And the reason why I do that is because I want to easily identify points or objects really quickly if I'm going to be interacting with them. You'll see what I mean in a few seconds. Here on the left side, I can just search for that and I can find my items, which I'm going to tie, like the parking position and the taxiway point. Notice when I do that, the point goes between the both of them, and I can right click on the point and I can say create path. So now what that means is you have a fuel spot created so that you can go ahead and fuel up your plane. Oh, okay. So you're saying that this spot is where the fuel trucks fuel up, and there's another spot for planes to fill up? If I'm wrong, just let me know. Because I didn't find, I wasn't looking too much past the pictures that I saw online at the beginning. So I could probably add another fuel spot, but this will probably be easy for anybody that's looking for a physical spot to fuel up because again, like I said, this fuel truck will not be here. Or the fuel truck will pull up to the position, but hopefully, it won't be in anybody's way. So now that I've tied these together, I can get rid of the custom labeling and I can just double check my stand or my start position. I can also just adjust the heading so that you're literally pointing, like towards the fence or something like that, whatever. And then, okay, you use a fuel truck 99% of the time. Nice. Does that cost anything more IRL? Is it just a courtesy service that they offer you? Because I'm assuming that like it, I would assume that it might cost like, a couple bucks extra to get the fuel truck to come to wherever you are because they're spending gas to get to you. But I don't know. You rent it wet. Okay. Okay. So at least now we have a fuel position. And if you want to, you can add the 3D objects in front of the spot to make it normally look like a fuel position. But since we have this building here already, I'm not going to give it a 3D mesh. And um, we have like literally somewhere between 47 to 50 spots. So I'm going to call this one, I'm just going to go ahead and probably label it 50 right off the bat and say number 50, and yeah, nothing else needs to be added. It's a fuel parking spot, and we'll leave it numbered like that for now. This is arbitrary. It literally means nothing. So, at least as far as I know. There we go. Now we have a fuel position, which I didn't have before. Oh, okay. So Alpha 1 gets a deal. That's good. We like deals. We definitely like deals. Okay, next thing. We added helipad positions to the sim. Um, what I might do, if I can, is to make the helipads be faded, and we're going to change them so they're not, what am I trying to say? So they're not so bright. Square, H, circle, medical looks like that, circle looks like that, square, I'm sorry, square was what we had before, just a regular H, and then nothing. Now, if we get rid of the H, you'd still be able to spawn in on a helipad, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to do much else because I don't see any place where I can change the material used to mark the helipad. Then Darian, take care and God bless you. Thanks for stopping by. Safe travels. Is it possible to edit a pay-aware scenery? In theory, yes. You can edit anything. I mean, well, hold on. Let me retract that. You can edit airports in the sim using the built-in scenery development or software development kit, which I'm using right now. The problem might be if you edit a pay-aware scenery and they release an update, your changes might not stick around. They might overwrite something that you added, but it doesn't mean you can't change a pay-aware scenery to suit you if you want to. Legality is questionable. I mean, um, but probably unless you plan to redistribute the scenery and say, hey, I made a hack to the scenery, go ahead and download it, you probably aren't going to need to worry about it. If you're changing something because you prefer the ground to be different, or you want to add something else to a payware scenery or a freeware scenery, I think it depends on licensing and, when you download it, but the mechanical process is possible. It's possible. So, assuming assuming that there are no markings for this, we're going to solve our problem right now. This is what it looks like on the tarmac at the actual airport. So I am getting rid of a bunch of stuff just so I can see what all this looks like. And I hope I didn't just mess myself up, but I should be able to undo the changes I'm making. If I get rid of all the markings, then all that technically should be there are maybe some concrete slabs for the helicopters. And in theory, that could probably be good enough to, pass muster if there aren't any H's on the ground. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Like I said, it's probably quite possible for you to edit a pairware scenery so you can make things look better for you. And I might even go over editing a scenery that you have so that you can, add something that you feel is missing. That might be something that I have a clinic for in the future, or I might just show you the alternative, the thing that I normally do, which is basically building an airport from scratch. That's what I've done almost all the time. So let me think. I'm backing myself out here. One, two, three. Okay, I see where all of the things are now. So now I know, now I understand what I have to do to make this look better. Well, the helipad is right there anyway, so I'm not going to have to hide the textures again. I'm just going to go ahead and put slabs down where they were. So, did I forget to do something? All right, hold on. Okay, good. I am okay messing around with the helipad. I just want to make sure I didn't wreck anything else. But I think we're good here. This should not have a 3D mesh. Good. All right. Now I can focus on those helipads. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some concrete slabs here so that we can actually see that. Championship baseball game. Oh, wow. Rock on. Rock on. All right. So since we already know that the light blue outline means it's a helipad start position, we're going to go ahead and get rid of these H's since I don't believe they exist in real life. But these are actually still start positions, so you will actually be able to start in the sim where they are. I think this is a private heli hangar. I don't know. That's how I built it at least. I mean, I could always be wrong. The key for me for Plymouth is to be as authentic as possible. So that's the goal. If that means that things don't look the way that I expect them to, but they look a certain way, and then we know what it looks like, we know what it looks like. So that's it. There's it's not debatable as far as I'm concerned. If it needs to be changed, it needs to be changed. So we're going to create another apron, which we're going to overlay on top of all the other ones that are here, and then we're going to make that concrete. So we select default, we do one-click placing, and then I click with the left mouse button, we get a red point, and now we can start laying down the concrete. And you can get right down and place your points down. I want the teeniest bit of overlap over the actual parking space because I want it to overlap a little bit so that I'm not worried about, you know, anything looking like it's just outside the spot. And that should do it. We press enter, and normally you'd see a texture appear. However, there are a few levels of aprons there already. So if we slowly increase the priority, we should see the concrete form. Now this is taxi concrete. This is one of the base materials. We can do a Sobo concrete and we can pick something else, like cement dirt, for example, or concrete 11. I want something which kind of looks like it's been landed on and it looks like worn but not incredibly broken up. Not that. I kind of like this because even though it's dirt, it looks like a lot of things have kind of stayed here and gone, and there's like dust and just grime, really grime. So if we take away the ground merging, some of that grime goes away. So I want that grime there. We're also going to change the texture rotation so that if we have tiles, they're relatively aligned. And we can also increase or decrease textured tiling. We can always just make this one big fat slab. Whoa, Scotty Tahati coming through with 12 viewers. Hello, welcome in, folks. My name is Digi Driver. I am a flight sim streamer turned scenery
Good evening,
director.
ma'am. How are you? I'm doing good.
If you could shave that as gray as the concrete around it. Yes, sir. Let's get to work. Vega Blue Sky, hello, friend. Welcome aboard. And Scotty Tahati, thanks again so much for the raid. Peter Mooney coming through. Good to see you folks. Really appreciate having you on board. I am a scenery developer for Microsoft Flight Simulator and I'm working on Plymouth Municipal Airport. This is Kilo Papa Yankee Mike. This airport, Lord willing, should be
Good
released
evening, ma'am.
next
How are you?
month.
I'm doing good.
Texas Flyboy, Texas One Flyboy, hello. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to DigiFam. Welcome aboard. We are messing around with some scenery development today, and I need to enable coloration because this color needs to be changed. Heh, nope, not red. We need it to be dark. Almost like a slight, I'm assuming a slight shade higher than that for the concrete. Unless it shouldn't be. Something like this. Scotty Tahati, thank you so much for stopping by. Really appreciate the support. Thanks again for the raid, and God bless your appointment. Do I have any other sceneries? Yes, I have 3 sceneries available on flightsim.to. They're all early efforts that I made. One is Higginsville Industrial Municipal Airport, which is Kilo Hotel India Golf. Then I also have Warrensburg, which is Kilo Romeo Charlie Mike. And then I also have an airport in Edmonton, actually in the outskirts of Edmonton in Alberta, Charlie Zulu Victor Lima. All of them are available by looking me up as DigiDriver on flightsim.to. Yeah, just to give people flying an outline. So I would say that looks a little brighter, just bright enough for me to see it. I mean, this is pretty close, but this right around here, I want to say, I feel that works personally. Unless you want it to be more like a creamy concrete that's just like a little bit brighter than everything around it. And to give myself an easier time, I'm going to go ahead and copy this, make duplicates of it, and say, oh, I need to move this to my aprons, but hold on. Helicopter apron texture 1. And I'm going to move this to my aprons folder. Actually, go to West Apron Backings. This is actually pretty good. Yes, there is a reason why I have as many folders as I do. All of this, if it's all in one spot and you come back to a project like this like 6 months later, you might go bananas. Seriously. So it's my personal opinion, and I learned this pretty quick. The sooner I have these things set up in folders, the easier it'll be for me to find them. We'll duplicate this. We will move it over and just do a little bit of tweaking. And I need to check my priority here because it looks like it reset. There we go. So this probably doesn't need to have that much priority. I can just make it like a priority 1. I'll keep it priority 1 for now, and that's the same going to be with probably the other apron textures here. And what we can do is we can adjust it, and we can set stuff up. Okay. I will be checking satellite imagery and making sure that the texture colors are as close to authentic as possible, because I really want to go for a, home run with this airport. I could probably, do a few more tweaks, release it as is, and maybe make a few bucks off of it. But it's important that I do it right for 2 reasons. Number one, friend of the channel Eric Fight is here. has been giving me lots of input and history about this airport, and I really want to do this airport right. I want to make it a respectable release. Two, if I just release it as is, it'd just be okay. It'd just be another freeware, like it would just be another payware airport. You know, like I don't want that. I want better. They have three of those light gray spaces outlined for the helicopter. Yeah. So we're gonna make one more over here, and then they'll be able to find where they're going. Do any of those spaces have lights around them at all? I'm assuming no. I'm assuming no. Some helipads probably have start spots that are so big, like if you're landing on top of a hospital building or something like that, you'll probably have it marked off. Yeah, okay. So they don't have any lights. That's fine. That's fine. This has a little bit too much ground merging stuff. I think removing it's probably going to be a good idea for me. And this one is going to be apron texture 2, which means the third one will be, you guessed it, apron texture 3. And we'll move it over right now. I get it. This is not a glamorous stream. I'm not flying to Ibiza or Barcelona. I'm not going to LA or New York. But this is a part of the experience and a chance to give folks a better treatment of a general aviation airport in a part of the country that I don't think has had too many freeware airports released for. I mean, the bigger ones, your Martha's Vineyard, Providence, Boston, they're covered. Bradley, maybe even Bridgeport. Ooh, okay. Well, there we go. If Boston Medflight can weigh in on how realistic that's supposed to look, that's even better. That's even better. So now we have three-star positions for helicopters. And what I don't know is how these positions are going to look as well. I'm assuming they're going to be brighter than the rest of it. And I'd be correct. So these look a bit more, these look like they're a bit more, what am I trying to go for? They look more dirty. So we're gonna use the same tile, but we're gonna make it a bit more natural. How do we open the scenery file in the SDK? Well, if you want to do that, you're probably going to have to enable developer mode first from the options menu. So in general options, if you scroll all the way down to experimental, there is a, oh, wait a minute. Is it not here anymore? Oh, duh. Developers. Developer mode should be on. And then once developer mode is on, what happens is you get this dev mode menu up at the top of the screen. You're not going to see it because it's behind my overlay, but you will see a dev mode menu with things like file, editors, options. You can use the tools menu while you're flying in a sim to do things like teleport to a different airport, or you can pick a different aircraft if you don't want to go back to the main menu. In dev mode, you can go to the file menu and open a new project where you choose where you're going to place your project folder, and you're going to give your project a name, and then you're going to choose what that project is going to be. If you want to create an airport, you're going to create a package. Otherwise, you can create, I think, a few other things like a landmark. But if you have an existing project, you can go to the file menu and open a project or open recent, and then you'll be able to see what's up. But yeah, remember, like I said before, if you want to find out more info, again, highly, highly recommend you check out folks like My Physical World and Federico Pinotti. I'm going to mention them again because really they helped me get my start. And I have no hesitation recommending them to anyone. Actually, Federico has his own Discord as well, where folks do pretty much nothing but talk about scenery development. So go check him out if you're looking to get more insider knowledge because he just gives that stuff out. So, oh yes, back to the helipads. Excuse me. Let me go ahead and create a new apron. I can probably just copy this apron, which I think I will, and I'll rename it. This is a private helipad, so we'll just relabel this apron likewise. And we're going to play with the placement of the apron here. It's overridden. I can probably also change the offset so you don't see cracks here, which I will do. But first, let me go ahead and change the name. This is Private Helipad 1. This is Private Helipad Apron 1. Apron Texture 1. And what we can do is we can play with the offset to get rid of those cracks there. And I can also play with the placement, the rotation, so they look better. That's pretty good. And that's it. We've gotten rid of the cracks. The texture tiling is so big that you won't see them. You can also add a whole bunch of concrete tiles if you want to. I just choose not to have them there. And what else am I going to do? Oh, well, for starters, I need to custom tailor this to match the spot. It's not going to be that big IRL. And essentially, if you do this about, 50,000 more times, you have an airport. Not this specifically, but clicking things, building things, placing things. You can do a fair amount of work in the SDK just using any built-in objects which are imported for use in the sim regularly. But I've also created a bunch of objects myself to make the airport look better, to make my airports look better in general. And I want to go back to my freeware airports and dress them up too. Okay, now, same colors on the other 5 helicopter parking spaces. Dude, enjoy the baseball game, please. I will totally understand. But thanks for the support. I really do appreciate your encouragement. I think I know what to do. First thing I'm going to do is probably hide this surface because I think I'm going to just double check to make sure these things look good. I almost want to play with it so that it sticks out just a little bit more. But you know what? We'll leave them the exact same color they are right now. I'm not going to second guess myself, and we're just going to go ahead and place them. So I need to do that about 4 more times. But Digi, this is so boring. I understand. I didn't say like I said before, scenery development is only glamorous once it's done and you're like getting ready to buy an airport that looks superb that you've always wanted to fly to, that you're willing to spend money on, and then you download it, you install it, you fly there a few times and you're like, "Okay, I'm good." At least that's been my experience. But I get it. I get it. People like, seeing finished airports, especially airports in their hometown. That's the deal. That's the deal maker. And I have more than a few of those projects in the pipeline already. But I kind of have to, figure out how to make this work or make the hobby more sustainable. There's got to be a way to open a BGL without opening the airport. There might be. I haven't spent too much time looking that up. Is Google imagery better than Bing for scenery creation? Um, In terms of keeping up with the times, I guess Google Earth imagery is better. It helped you point out to me that these taxiways were off placement. So there's your answer right there. It's more, I guess it's more accurate. I mean, obviously, if you don't use it, you can still use the Bing Maps placement, but I think you're at the mercy of whatever it's currently set to. So having a different source to look to is good. And actually, Texas Flyboy has a really good point. I think we're gonna have to take each airport on a case by case basis. But essentially, this is part of the work that we do to make these airports look better. Because the default airports, they get the job done. They were generated by, I think they were almost purely generated by AI. So the simple fact that we have over 80,000 airports around the world that were generated for us is really neat. But at the same time, having a realistic, highly customized airport that you recognize is usually the dream. You know, if you want to pretend you pull up to your home airport in the sim, hop out of the aircraft, go inside the terminal, go grab some virtual cookies, sit down and watch your friends land, then that's up to you. And that's something which I think is possible, at least pretend wise with the drone cam. But that's my opinion. Great, there we go. So that's good enough. Let me go ahead and make this one position 3, and then we'll be able to get those spots knocked out. Okay, that's a good idea. That'll help us see what the differences are between them, which is great. So this is private helipad 5, and this is private helipad 4. So let me grab this. Since I'm incrementing my helipad placements, I'm going to move this into place now. I almost wonder if it's easier for me to just switch to top-down camera, and I'm going to. That way I don't have to think about angling the camera better to see where the spaces are going to go. The only problem, of course, is that you can't change the orientation of the camera. It just stays looking one way, but now this is purely vertical. And it's easier for me to play with the placement of these points. Okay, let's move that over. There we go. We've got one more spot to do, which is spot 5. I want to say these could be a bit brighter though, so I'm probably going to make them a bit brighter. And zoom back down, stay directly overhead, and move those points into place. I said move those points into place, not scale them. That's my fault. I remember when I was working on the taxi lines for the airport, that felt like such a long project, even longer than placing the basic fence around it. Placing the fence, placing the fence was a task, but hand painting the taxiways, that was rough. It was worth it though. Absolutely worth it. Okay, so Google imagery back in the day. Okay, yeah. And there we go. Now we have these spots in place. And let me experiment first. If I get rid of ground merging, oh, I did get rid of ground merging before. Got it. Okay, do me a favor. Let's add a little bit more kind of like creaminess to these. They don't have to be ridiculously colored. They just need to be different enough. And I am going to make them slightly dissimilar in color, almost to simulate fading or multiple helicopters landing in one spot versus another. I'm not going to simulate, their ground impacts or like textures like that, but I'm going to change the coloration just a little bit between each one because, you know, things. This is a little too, this one's a little too bright. Yeah, they kind of look a little too bright. That could also be the PBR, but you can already see the difference. Like they stick out just a little bit more. And I'm probably going to be tweaking those colors even more. So obviously I'm not going to be working on just helipad positions for the entire stream. Fortunately, there are only a few more spots that I have to tweak anyway. So let's change the color again. And again, folks, really appreciate your support and you stopping by and saying hello. Um, Scenery dev is not everybody's cup of tea. I get it. But I also appreciate folks stopping by and, you know, the comments and the stories, I think, really kind of cement it in terms of people's experiences with training and with, being IRL pilots and the work that goes into making these sceneries. They it 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 makes for interesting storytelling. That's what I want to say. So let me go ahead and continue. Yeah, like I said, I want them to stick out. I want them to look like different slabs of concrete, and we'll figure it out. Like I can get really choosy about the coloration and the shades and all that stuff just to make it a little bit more realistic than it was before. Now you can tell, even from a fairly high distance up, that there are differences between the ground around it and those spots. This one is different though, because there's just a blank spot here, so to speak, and a spot on just like a literal concrete dirty slab here. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to change this around. We're going to overlay this with concrete, and then the rest of this will be asphalt. So we're actually going to create a new apron, actually two new aprons, and we're going to do it right now. The first thing we'll do is we will keep this selected and we're going to choose the apron property, which we already have. Map. Autocorrect has memed me before too many times. One click placing means we can just click the button and get started. And if I do this, oh no, I can't do anything yet. I think, you know what? Stop. Do this, choose this, hide it. Okay, great. So this goes all the way around and sticks out there. And because I can see the layout here, even if I'm wrong by a few inches, that's fine. Let's go ahead and start over. Now, I can start laying down my apron points and get to work. I think there's a certain amount of approximation that happens when you get close enough to existing points. So I'm not going to worry if there's a teensy border around it. Unless, of course, it's required. Digi, you're 6 centimeters off. This is horrible. 1 star. And it's okay. It's okay. You know, some folks won't have the best of days. And they'll buy something and they won't like it. And they'll be very vocal. And, you know, love and respect and support. And we move on. And I'm not saying I'm opposed to criticism either. By the way, Eric Flight is applying a very critical eye to this airport, and he will let me know if stuff is no bueno. There is an edge of quality that I want to maintain with this, so I am willing to uh, suck it up and get uncomfortable for the sake of making a better airport. He said I'm not done. Awesome, awesome. Good times, good times. My hope, of course, my friend, is to be able to release this to, what we can only hope would be minor success, and then, hang out with you and one or two friends up in Plymouth and celebrate and see what the actual airport looks like, and then have me shaking my head, going, "Oh my word, I did this, I did this poorly." But no, no. Um, an approximation of an airport is what we all want, right? If that's what it takes, I'm out. All right, good night, chat. Bye. Um, in theory, you can replace the satellite imagery and put down grass wherever it is you want to go. The problem is a lot of the grass textures are just that, they're textures. So it's going to be very difficult to put in textures and not let them look like they've just been placed over something. At the last step. Wow. I mean, if you guys wanna buy it for 50 bucks a pop, nah, no, no. That would just be like, hey, listen, we need people coming up to the airplane when we pull off the ramp, ready to put chocks under it, and it has to be custom scripted, and they let us know that there are warm cookies waiting for us at the FBO. Like, we want it all. And you do that, or we complain. That would be fun though. That's gonna take more training. Um, and I like building scenery. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be pretending to do this. Let's see. Blade of Grass number 5,675,032. Click. That would be horrible. Like, that sounds like the kind of thing, you know, that's just mean. I'll take a hard pass on that and let the AI cover me. It's a thing. Like, it's how can I express this? It's something that I rediscovered, something that I used to do, like you did a long time ago. And then I put it away because I guess I got busy with life, and I got busy with other games. I was playing consoles for a while. Not that that's a bad thing. I still have plenty of mine. And then I started getting into FSX and I started watching other flight sim streamers and you know how it is. You watch a really good flight sim streamer, you see their setup and you're like, "Man, I want that." Like envy, covetousness. And then you're like, how can I afford that like immediately? So you spend a lot of money on the stuff and and the cycle repeats itself, like you get to a point where you're satisfied and then, like Chewy does a stream where he's like, like 747 into Kai Tak, full ultra 4090, oh! And then me and my 5900X with a 3060 Ti, I try the same thing and it's like, 25, 30 frames a second, which is not bad, but it's like when you've got the 40 series cards with frame generation, it makes stuff it makes stuff even smoother. Oh, no, 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 no. Your feedback is prized. It's precious. Precious. It's definitely required. I need people like you to sound off on whether or not the airport looks like it's supposed to. Because if it doesn't look like it's supposed to, then it'll probably be fine and it'll probably make some money. But I'm looking for just that knee-jerk reaction. Like what he modeled what the runway does, like the runway's lined up what like we actually don't have centerline lights and it doesn't show up that way in the sim and you can actually walk into the Alpha 1 school? What? Like that's what I'm going for. And if it takes a while, it takes a while. But I mean that's where we are. Mind you, the 1.0 release may not have absolutely everything down pat, but it's going to get there. It's going to get pretty close in the first shot. Yeah, yeah, I appreciate that. And um, you know, we're already in pre-alpha testing and and what I'm going to call it, reviews and analysis. So I'm hoping to get through this as quickly as I can because I want to get to all this talking and I completely forgot. I don't have to go that far. Phew. Okay, so let me go ahead and focus because I've been talking so much. Let me do this, and I think that should do it. Did I? Did I? Oh no, but wait, I can fix that. I can fix that. First off, that's fine. Before I make that happen, I'm going to move certain points out. I'm going to probably grab some of these points, like probably this point right here, or this point, and move it to about here. The benefit of putting down a whole bunch of points sometimes is that you can reposition them as needed. And that's what we're going to do. Also, it looks like this is even further out than I imagined, so I don't know. Let me play with this for now and see if those points need to be repositioned again. But yeah, the point of the exercise is to create something as realistic as possible because I'm going to want it to be realistic because that's what I'm going for. Now, um, let's set some fairly good expectations from the start. This is only my second payware airport. It's going to be... Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong now. Stand by. This is only my second payware airport. So there's going to be things I'm learning. I'm still learning now. But my passion is to make this as realistic as possible. That means listening for feedback, implementing suggestions, things like that. Because on the one hand, I think I could make a journey out of turning this into an enterprise, a career, something where I become a full-time scenery developer. But at the same time, I'm not afraid to confess to you guys that it is a challenge. And I think that mostly because there are plenty of people that are out there that are doing the same thing. What differentiates me at the moment is that I'm not trying to take on, um, you know, FS Dream Team or Flightbeam or FSim Studios or Pyrig or vertical sim studios, because the sceneries, the airports that I want to create, they're airports that I like to think of as off the beaten path. These are not the typical airports that you spend a lot of time thinking about as a flight simmer, because a lot of folks are just focused on, hey, let's grab the 737 and fly to um, Ketchikan, or let's go to Anchorage or Seattle or Vancouver, and do that kind of stuff. And not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just that those airports are huge. They're going to take up a lot more time than I have the energy and the space for, and that would require me going utterly full time. Well, hey, um, that could turn into something, especially if we're talking about a series of airports in the Massachusetts area. Then that could be something that happens. So, what do I want to do? Temporary brain things, but I'm going to go ahead and delete points because that piece needs to be different. Choop, and then we go here, and then we get rid of the remaining points, and then we have the overlay, which we're going to use to basically set ourselves up for success. And I'm saying things and hoping I make sense. But there you go. I mean, I don't have the capacity because I'm not there grabbing, like a yardstick and figuring out exactly where all this stuff goes. I'm just using what most everybody else will be using, which is essentially, imagery and all that stuff. So this is I think the asphalt overlay for the second private hangar. So I'm literally going to call it second private hangar asphalt apron poly. And we're going to change the material to be a Sobo asphalt. And I think we're going to play around with this because in theory I could do that. And is that colored or is that different? Oh, wait. Hold on. My priority. Bam. So if I remove that and then I remove this, then yeah, that's pretty close. That's pretty close. But instead of making this full-on fresh coat of asphalt, oh, they definitely have made scenery creation more easy than before. I mean, we're editing scenery while we're in the sim. It's not going to get much easier than that unless you're talking about knowing everything. I'm adding, or I guess you could say I'm fading the texture a little bit because that's fully opaque and that's fully transparent. Around 130, it starts to get interesting. I think around 200 or 205 is where I'm going to leave it. There's just enough fade to the texture to make it look like people have come in. Another raid? DeLorean coming through with a party of 14. Folks, thank you so much for stopping in. Hello, DeLorean. I hope your stream is fantastic.
Good evening, ma'am. How are you? I'm doing good.
Barbie Girl 88896, hello. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the Digi fam. Folks, I am Digi Driver. I am a flight sim enthusiast turned scenery developer. I'm currently working on Plymouth Municipal Airport in Plymouth, Massachusetts. It's one of the only airports that I know for GA that actually has the word for the city on the airport, which is fantastic. But today I'm working on scenery development, and I am trying to work on this airport to get it done for release in July. DeLorean, thank you so much for stopping by again. Really appreciate the company. And folks, welcome aboard. Let me add the remaining concrete slab texture. Or you know what I could do? No, I can't do that because that's the rest of the tarmac. Hold on. I am going to re-enable this, and then we're going to add the concrete slab here, which basically makes this look more like this. So I'm going to grab this really easily, duplicate it, and then we're going to actually make this look better. Now, in case you just came through from the raid and you're wondering, what in the world is this dude talking about? I'll make it simple. I am a scenery developer. So all these weird symbols and icons, these are part of the scenery development experience. And you can do things like this to create more realistic runways and taxiways and custom buildings. Like these service buildings with a windsock on top. This is not the same equipment used to lay out the windsock on top of the building. This is just the first thing that I can get my hands on. I apologize, Eric. I don't know how to get custom windsock mesh installed yet. And these are custom buildings that I made, including custom storage facilities. But basically, these are mini hangars too. I just call them storage because this is what I think about them. And then we have custom hangars. And these have lights in them. The lights turn on at night and turn off during the day. And in theory, in the future, I might be able to let you spawn into these hangars when you get started at the airport. Because if the hangar doors are open, why not, right? Also, we have a flight school here, which I am in the progress of making. And you can go in, you can have a cup of coffee if you so choose, and you can go out to the hangar where, again, if I choose to, you can probably have a start position inside the hangar so you can taxi out to the tarmac and then go take off. Scruffy Tab, hello. Barbie Girl, you're in Plymouth? Nice. Steve 99, hello. Hello. Good to see you. Scruffy Tab, thanks again for saying hi. I hope you're having a great day. God bless you and the fam. I hope you really are doing fantastic. I am working on Plymouth for release this summer. And by all means, my friend, send me a DM or just, say hi. I will stay in touch with you. I will be more than happy to get a list of folks together if you're interested in doing any kind of beta testing whatsoever. And then, there'll be probably more than a few parties for pre-release streams. And then we will release this hopefully by the middle of July, at which point I will walk away from the keyboard for, I think, at least a week's R&R, and then come back to do some other development later on. But you're down for beta tester. Yes. So there we go. And, okay, why am I at Plymouth? Why am I building scenery for this airport? Well, there is default scenery available for Plymouth, so it's not like the airport didn't exist. The problem with the default scenery was that, number one, there weren't as many start positions there as there could be. Number two, the start positions were pointed the wrong way. Number three, this default beacon that you see here was actually right here. and it would be blocking traffic for a southbound departure. Number four, the runway, you can't see this right now, but the default airport has a runway texture which is just it's way more off than this. In the Bing imagery, the runway is just about spot on. In Google Maps imagery, it's just a teensy bit outside. But for me, I kind of don't care because this is a really long runway and it's hard to place really well. If you've ever created any scenery for Microsoft Flight Simulator, you know what I'm talking about. Also, a really important thing which was missed, this actually was extended. But in the sim, it only goes to here. So I put some grass textures here. I extended the taxiway. And now you can go all the way to the end of 2.4, line up, and take off. Steve, you were talking about world editor for X-Plane. I am such a noob when it comes to that one. But I plan to do some senior development in X-Plane at some point in the near future. Texas Flyboy, please feel free to uh, uh, find out more about the process. I will even repost the links that I've been passing around in chat for the past few minutes. This is the link to My Physical World, and here is the link to Federico Pinotti.
Checklist complete.
You want to go to these guys to find out how to get started. Thank you, Texas Flyboy, for the tier 1 sub. Really appreciate it. Steve, feel free to catch me on Discord and let me know throughout the week. I can probably take a look at some of that stuff since I haven't been doing scenery dev in World Editor. It might not be a bad idea for me to get back into it, and you've just kind of given me inspiration to do so. So thank you. Yeah. Don't feel bad about asking. It's just something that I haven't spent a lot of time in lately. So, what am I going to do here? Oh, that's right. I need to overlay something. You know what? Adding texture points to this is going to be annoying. So, I'm going to start over and I'm going to go back to apron and choose this apron and then choose default, one-click placing, left click, and then get started. It's the process that I do. Oh, and before I do that, let me stop what I'm doing and at least save my progress so I can come back to it should something happen. Phew. Thank you, Lord. Okay. This is the part where we get really persnickety and really boring. This is literally, and I kid you not, the level of refinement that I'm trying to apply. And it's not easy, and sometimes it's not very rewarding, but it's kind of like those things. When you know, you know. When you know the amount of effort that's gone into an airport, then you know why you paid X number of dollars for it. So that's kind of the thing that I want to do. Now, if you're a member of the Virtual USA Flying Club, which Eric Flight knows about, then there is going to be an opening day sale for you. So if you have any interest in GA Flight and you want to try that on VATSIM and you are a fan of the New England area or probably flying anywhere in the country with VATSIM, feel free to give them a look. Oh, definitely. And Eric Flight, who is also a streamer, by the way, will be more than happy to let you know about the Virtual USA Flying Club. And by the way, my friend, you do have a charity event coming up. So if you wouldn't mind dropping the deets in chat, let folks know about the upcoming Flight Sim charity event that you're going to be having in the not too distant future, I would appreciate that. Go for it. So this is a lot easier than adapting the other apron that I put in for the sake of building things. And then we're going to have a concrete slab And then I think I might be done with editing those concrete slabs for right now, and I'll probably edit them a little bit more this evening. It's about 7:05 right now, so I would say give it another like 20-ish minutes, and then we're gonna call this stream done. But not before we go over some things and talk about the future of my channel on Twitch. Don't worry, I'm not quitting. I'm sorry, I don't want to troll anybody. Um, I am looking at the horizon for the next, I don't know, few weeks to month or two. And there's going to be some stuff that I'm probably going to shift around or change in terms of content and focus for the sake of, staying with it, staying dedicated, focused, and also having fun with this. Because you can be so committed to something that you go literally bananas working on the things, and then you look up and your brain's fried and you don't know, like, where you are, what you're doing, and you're like, but I want to finish this, but I don't know how to do it. It's okay. Burnout happens to everybody when whatever it is, you overinvest, you spend so much time working on something that you forget to eat, and you get really hungry, and you get really tired, or you get really frustrated and you can't figure out the way around a problem. Don't worry. It's called being a human being, and that's normal. It's okay. Thank you, Script Tab. Thank you so much. And folks, if you like doing GA flights and you like flying around with people in multiple kinds of aircraft, flying to interesting places, please give my friend Scruffy Tam a follow. You will not be disappointed. For one thing, he wears different colored socks. And believe me, that's a thing. Have a great day, Scruffy Tam. All right. So we've replaced the texture, and now we're going to pick a different concrete texture for this. And we are going to use dirt again. And we are actually going to use almost the same color that we have here, because I want it to look pretty much like it does IRL, or the best approximation I can figure right now. So it's pretty good. I almost don't want to mess with the color at all, but I do at least need to change the texture, tiling, and offset. So we'll change rotation first. And then if we are going to tile it, it looks pretty straight. But we're going to increase texture tiling. So that it looks like this. And I don't know about you, but I kind of like the way that looks. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll leave that there for now, and then we will label this as well. And now I think we can say private hangar 2 concrete helipad. Okay, so now we have a concrete helipad. We have another kind of like nondescript helipad here, where in theory helicopter traffic could spawn in. I don't know. And now we've gotten rid of the nice but also extremely obvious helipads. So you can still land at them and take off from them and spawn in at them, but they're not going to be as marked as they normally are in real life. And yeah, that's not a bad way to kick off this week, which is going to turn into quite the power week, Lord willing. There's a lot for us to do. I need to make some changes. I need to finish this building. I need to probably make some changes to the default hangars. I'm probably going to close some of those hangar doors down, and I'm going to change the coloration of these buildings to be more realistic. They're like light blue, a bluish color, and depending on how well I can interpolate or translate the buildings that I saw from a video feed from a certain someone, I can probably remake the Massachusetts State Police hangar and insert a representation of what it looks like, so that it looks better than that. Which it doesn't look that bad, by default. It's just towering over everything else. So I'm going to change that, and I'm going to try to get the buildings on the other side of the hangar rendered as well. These are default hangars too. And like on the other side, these are parking spaces over here. And there's a flight school here as well. There are hangars here too. I need to start working on getting them rendered because these don't have interiors and I'd like mine to have them even if they're basic for now. Also, I need to render more weather equipment here. And I also need to add I think like an ILS building, maybe even a small antenna, because it looks like there's an antenna here based on a shadow. Like a tiny building or something, I don't know. But we'll work on that. Mike Goulian with the Sears School. Yep, that's right. A wild, a wild Arch NDA. Hello, friend. Good to see you. I'm sorry I missed your message before, but welcome aboard. Arch NDA is another friend of the stream. I am trying to cook up a version of one of his favorite airports, which is 3 Mike 0, Gaston's Airport. If you've never been there or you've never heard of it, just do a YouTube video search for Gaston's Airport or 3 Mike 0, and you you will probably be very pleased to see what you find. Like people landing on a grass airport strip with I don't know, possible geese on the runway, stuff like that. But there we go. Um, I'm going to continue on this. There's no question. In terms of what I can do today, what have I done? Remove the fuel trucks, worked on the helipad positions. The fencing is okay-ish. I need to work on the mosquito control building. And oh, I forgot to show you, Eric. Stand by. Dun 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 dun. Dun, dun. They're not as imperfect and banged up as they would be, but these are kind of like guard pylons by the call-in box and the badge machine. I need to work on adding PBR to both of them, but the last time I tried, I couldn't quite get it to work. This is one of the default cars. Um, I like the detail, but I don't like the fact that the more detailed polygon cars are blurry. So I'm probably going to use the more, sharp looking ones because with only a few exceptions, like this car, for example, most of the other ones they look very blurry, very blurry. So I might start changing them out. But there we go, folks. Oh, I didn't show you. These were some of the vector graphics that I created for uh, signs for the fences. So I also created this as well. Pilgrim Aviation is no longer here, but this sign still stands. And if you're wondering, the signage for the airport does exist. And if you look at this place at night, it also lights up. It's nice. It's nice. Um, is it the absolute best placement of textures? No, but it's okay. It's okay. Digi is doing his best. The gray, yeah. I need to do some work on those signs to stretch them out a little bit more. And believe it or not, there's not that much night lighting at the airport. I have it from a very reliable source that there are no large amounts of overhead lamps at this airport. So when you when you're here and it's like 8:30, you know, if your hangar has a light, that's great. Otherwise, you are walking around in the dark. This is a default building, so don't mind that. Yeah, I guess this is how it looks IRL. And Yeah, all these polygons are kind of getting in the way, but you get the point. I have default planes here. I'm probably going to change it so that you can actually spawn into these hangars. Probably. If I don't, that'll be something I probably add in a 2.0 release. And there you go, chat. There you go. So it's going to be 7:15. I think I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. But again, thank you so much to everybody that stopped by and said hello. And to those folks that are still hanging out with me, that's crazy. 14 of y'all, or however many there actually are here, actually watching me talk about scenery development, which is fantastic. And if the future is any indication, FS 2024 is probably going to make it even easier for you to render scenery in the sim. That's the hope. So I'm going to save. I'm going to click build all, which hopefully won't crash my sim. But if it does, I've still saved it. Hopefully. That moment where you don't know what's going on. Hands off the keyboard. It works. It takes a while. It does take a while to save and build it. But now I could theoretically take this and put it in my community folder and then just start flying out of here. So I need to go ahead and see what these buildings look like IRL and render them, because I think we're going to render some buildings which are just outside the airport, including this convenience store. And I think I'm going to add at least this gas station here, or try to. Also, there's a Civil Air Patrol hangar here and a building. This office building is not here though, or if it is, it's obscured by a lot of trees. So there's still a lot of work for me to get done. I am nowhere near finished, but we're on the way to pushing towards a release. And I, for one, am very happy to have gotten to this point already. It's been a journey. It's been an amazing adventure. Oh, pictures to come soon. So really appreciate your help. Folks, stick around. Let's go ahead and check out who we can say hello to on a raid. And while I do that, folks, not afraid to admit this at all. If you feel so moved to do so, your support's always appreciated. I use subs and tips to keep going and turn this into something really cool. But I think also, I'm going to be selling this on hopefully Sim Market and or one or two other places. Maybe some point in the future, I'll also create my own website and my own storefront so I can sell my own scenery there, however I want to, however cheap I want to, maybe even give some more scenery away. I will potentially be doing one or two giveaways of this airport once I'm done, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Thank you so much. Wow, 7-1. Rock on. Dude, that's amazing. Okay, folks, we're going to go ahead and raid somebody right now. We have Continuum doing flight simulation in Melbourne. Arch NDA, thank you so much for saying hi. Gonna make a fly-in event when this is finished. Oh, thank you so much, my friend. We have Slant Alpha Adventures and Cool Joe and Jet Pilot Cinnamon. And let me actually just sneak a peek at Jet Pilot Cinnamon's stream, because we can probably say hi really quickly. I'm not sure if they've gotten started, but you know what? Let's go ahead and pay Jet Pilot Cinnamon a visit and really just kind of surprise them. So stick around for the raid chat. Really, really appreciate having you guys on board. And stay tuned. And if you haven't already done so, before I even do that, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to give you guys a link to my Discord if you want to join in. I would appreciate the company. And I typically do just a few things there, mostly scenery dev, but you're welcome to join if you'd like. In the meantime, folks, stick around. The raid is about to happen. Folks, thanks so much for spending time here today. And like I always like to say, if you want true peace, you want the Prince of Peace, and that's Jesus Christ. Thanks, folks. Have a great rest of your day and stick around for the ride. Here we go. Bye.